What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by two men that knew we had a podcast to record today, but only one that knew what time we were doing it. They are Joe Day and our sweet little EP, right?
Sweet little EP.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
How you doing, boy?
In my defense, I knew we had a podcast. I knew what time it was. I'm just, as you can see by my name, a touch hungover. I knew all the details involved. That did not stop me from drinking a lot of beers last night.
So I'm gonna guess maybe you're not gonna crack one open this morning.
I got my coffee. This delicious coffee today.
You know it was a bad night if he had his coffee this morning.
Yeah, it was rough.
Wow.
But Pitt won. I think. I don't know.
I mean,
you don't even remember.
And technically, it's not even morning anymore. So.
Oh yeah, it's really
true.
not.
We are
in
the afternoon.
It's gonna be my bedtime pretty soon. Oh, how's it going, EP?
It's good. It's good.
Good.
At this point, probably when a lot of people watch this, my stack sale will be over for the month, and had a great stack sale. It was a lot of fun as usual. This last group I put out, I tweeted last night, like I had such a blast going through putting together the lineup of all the different cards because there were so many unique, like weird cards. But a lot of them 50 cents, but just cool to look at a bunch of old weird stuff from like the old box, like Kmart box sets and Fleer box sets, all that kind of stuff. So it was
that's almost more fun than the actual getting the money.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I love going through this stuff and setting it up. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really kind of addictive when you're like going through to pick up cards. You're like, okay, I think people are gonna like this. Like,
who else would like this card? This is such a cool card. I hope someone.
I know, like that's what makes it so much fun. Like, even it's a lot of work to get ready for, but it is a lot of fun. Like, I enjoy that. Like, you call it work, but it's really not work if you enjoy it, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So let's get to business this week. Topps has announced their MVP buyback from November 26th through March 31st of next year. They will be giving customers who have Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt cards from 2022 Topps Chrome logo refractor, and the soon to be released Chrome, what I don't even remember what I wrote that one. Chrome Sonic.
Cosmic? Chrome Cosmic?
No, it's Chrome. I think it's Chrome Sonic. Yeah,
so there hasn't been released
yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it doesn't come out till early next year, maybe. But yeah, they're going to give you $20 a piece for base cards. They'll give you $40 for a refractor. They'll give you $100 for $150 to $399 numbered parallels, and $200 if you have a $25 to $99 numbered parallels. You can take them into participating local card shops or bigger online retailers that are participating, and they will give you store credit. Like, interesting idea. Like, I'm not a huge baseball collector, but boy, I think this kind of stuff is really exciting.
That's why I was going to defer to EP. He's the baseball guy, for sure.
I absolutely love it. Like, when was the last time that you had like there's a baseball base card from a set like this that was worth $20? Like, it creates a lot of excitement around a product that kind of had, they with the whole SSP rookies or whatever had some, and then they're sending out the silver packs, but there was some like some bad blood there, some bad juice going on. But then to get this, and then if you think about it, if you get one of those refractors that's numbered from 25 to 99 and get $200, like, you can use that to buy another box of Topps Chrome or another box of Bowman Chrome, or something. Maybe Bowman Chrome might be a little too expensive for that, but another box of something else. Like, that's just
defray the cost for sure.
Yeah.
$200.
And like what that would normally be like a $20 card at the lower numbered parallels. So probably like a $20 card, where the number to 150s would be like a $5 card, and then the base cards would be a $1 card. So I mean, it increased the value, creates a lot of buzz about this. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I hope they do for football, like something like that. Like, they're definitely trying to earn back the trust. You mentioned it, EP, with the silver packs and stuff like that. I think they're definitely trying to earn back the trust of the collectors, which is fun. And it's something to go after. It's something that you don't. Has any company ever done this in the past?
I don't remember.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about no innovation in cards. This is kind of an innovation, right? This is something that I've never seen before, so it's definitely fun that they're doing it, and it makes it more exciting to go after that product.
And I hope it's like, this is like Fanatics saying, hold my beer. Like, and I hope they start, like you said, I hope they just keep doing it. Like, maybe not for every product, it would get kind of old, but if you do it for a certain
make it
product,
special, it special. Yeah.
Or come up with unique ideas. Like, and, we've talked on here quite a bit about Fanatics and them wanting to market the card market more. Like, this is marketing, and it's successful, hugely successful. Like, people are excited about this, and they should be. And, this is the kind of stuff I hope that they can continue to implement, like make it different. Like you said, you're going to open up a pack of Topps Chrome, you pull out an Aaron Judge base card, and you're going to be excited. You're going, yes.
Yeah.
And it's worth $20 at a card shop. Like, that's not a little amount of money for a base card. So I think it's fantastic that they came up with this idea, and hopefully this will lead them doing other stuff. Like, obviously they don't have a football or basketball license at this point, but in the future, who knows what they might be playing. And
for sure,
it's a great first step for them. I think they're actually putting something out there to go along with this hobby needs to be marketed better, and now we're seeing it. And I think it gives me a little bit of excitement for Fanatics maybe dipping their toe into this, and maybe they will do some new things that people haven't seen before.
And I think a lot of, go ahead.
I was going to say, you guys should ask, what's his name? John, that owns a shop in Montana. Like, how, if he's participating, local card shop, ask him the process of this. Like, what happens when they get the card? Do they send it into Fanatics or Topps or whatever? I'm curious on how it actually works on the ground level,
I think they give the credit out, and they get the cards, and they do send them to Topps, and then they'll receive credit or payment for the cards that they got. So, I mean, it's a great thing for a shop too. Like, I have seen some people on Twitter saying that some of their card shop owners have been like putting limits on stuff, which is kind of a little crazy. Like, I had a shop.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome to me if somebody could come in and buy stuff at my store with Aaron Judge.
It's not affecting.
I was
not affecting your bottom line. You know,
like that's like free juice for
sales.
Your business, right?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, I mean,
just because you may have to send them to Topps to get your money, like, still you're getting your money. They're not gonna. I would imagine Fanatics and Topps aren't gonna blow the dealers off with this deal. Like, so I don't know why anybody would want to limit it. Like, if I still have my shop, I would be like saying, "Yes,
boxes
come on,
out.
come on."
It's like Topps is paying
Topps
is paying people to come into your store.
Yeah,
and like essentially get you in the door and and make them spend money.
It's almost like a stimulus for cards. They're creating value and creating sales for your store based on like a base card.
And it's not like they're getting one per pack. It's probably one per box, maybe. I mean, baseball has a big checklist, so you have to assume that an Aaron Judge base card is maybe one per box.
I opened 2 value boxes that I think had 10 packs each, and a blaster box that I think had maybe 6 packs or something like that.
Which is about the size of a box.
I did not get a Judge. Box. Yeah. And it was, I think it ended up being, so those two $60 boxes, and then so like probably 100, 120, 160 bucks. Between somewhere in there. I did not get a Judge or a Goldschmidt. So I was going to find one and post a photo of it if I had one, but I did not get any of them in any of those boxes. I mean, I did well. I got some really good stuff in all my boxes, but still, but
that's like a bonus that you're not going to get. I don't know why shops would limit that. I mean,
it's crazy.
What are the odds? Let's say it's one per hobby box, probably for a base Judge. Again, because of the checklist of baseball sets are pretty big. I'd be shocked if someone came in and just opened up one pack and got. I mean, encourage people to come in. Like, open up the door.
I'll have to look through mine and see if I have Goldschmidt. I was telling EP earlier, I think I had a Judge, and I think I sold it for $1 in a stack sale. So, happy customer, maybe they'll be Or it could just do a backyard breaks and say, no, I'm not selling.
No,
that
just keep
anymore.
it. That's a Tesla.
I can't.
That
That's
is
a Tesla. I can't find that card. I don't know what
I
happened.
could charge a Tesla with that card. Mike's Retro Trading Cards gives great deals on their SAC sales.
They do.
You can get a $20 card
Absolutely.
for $1.
And one of the coolest things, we've kind of hinted at it, but I just want to make sure we make the point. One of the coolest things about this is thinking about the potential for the future. Like, are people going to hold on to cards of players who might win the MVP next year for Topps Chrome or for any other products? And so, like, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, I can't get rid of this. I want to make sure I had these cards for the MVP and the Rookie of the Year in case they do this buyback thing again." So,
if you have, like, say you have a card of his numbered to 50, are you going to take the credit?
Right.
Or are you going to think, if the other 49 people send these back, I might be the only one that has a card numbered to 50.
Right.
So, I mean, it creates a whole new twist to the collecting side of it. Like, I would take the money and run personally.
But if you're like a massive like Judge super collector, and you get one of those cards to 50, you're like, oh my gosh, like I could get so much money for this.
Dilemma.
I gotta I gotta send this in, but I can't. I might be the only one I can get. Like, what if I can't get any more of them?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. They haven't announced yet what their plans are, why they're doing the buyback. They did say they were planning something exciting that they would announce in the future.
It's got to be they're going to get those autographed, right? Like, that's got to be what it is, and they're going to
a lot of autographs. So
yeah,
I mean, they're going to pay Judge a lot just for doing normal autographs. Why not? I mean, they might have sticker autos of him they could put on there. I think that would be, and then reinsert them in next year's Topps Chrome, maybe. I mean. There's got to be something big that they're planning if they're willing to pay $20 for a base card, right?
Right. I mean,
and
also
they're doing something.
But also, it's like promotional thing too. I think that's a huge part of it. Like they're going to take a loss potentially on this. I would guess. But then they could do so many things. Like they could just use like a stamp and put a stamp on all these cards, and then some of them could be autographed, and they could create other parallels and other ways for some of these cards. I feel like there's probably a ton of things they could do, but again, more excitement, wondering what's going to happen with these cards down the road.
I hope it's something a little more than just like buying them to insert in next year's packs. Right. I feel like I feel like it's something bigger is going on if they're doing it this level. Like I said, they're spending some money to create some buzz, but I'm really happy with how successful this has been.
And again, hopefully it's a nod to what's going to happen down the road. Hopefully they do stuff like this. Maybe not specifically this, but something that they're actually thinking, what can we do different? What can we do that we've never done before? What can we do that other companies haven't done before? And there have been buybacks before for sure.
Right.
But like this seems like a whole different level of it.
Yeah. Much.
What if they did like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, what if they did this a couple times, they did just like one like ridiculous buyback type of product that they put into packs, and it had all this kind of stuff in there, and there were parallels and autos and that sort of stuff. I mean, they would need to do it for quite a bit just have more than 2 cards, but that would be something really cool. Like I would be into that. Like that'd be a product that I would buy some of.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
Yeah.
Like I'm just excited that there's something different going on in the hobby. Like one of the manufacturers has done something different. Like we've been crying, like you said, Joe, there's no originality, there's no innovation. And, the card themselves may not be innovative, but this is definitely an innovative thing to bring to the hobby. And like, I applaud it, and I hope we see a lot more of it. Maybe Panini will wake up at some point out of their coma state and just pushing everything out like normal, and maybe do something a little different while they can too. I doubt it, but I am happy to see that Fanatics has done this, and like fingers crossed for the future that maybe we're going to see a lot more.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. This is the start. If this is the start, I can't wait to see what else is coming. Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's funny listening to us talk about this, like they just split the atom. I mean, that tells you how bad innovation has
right?
been in the last few years. It's like we're talking about a buyback program, which is cool and everything, but it's like we're talking about it like it's the first card ever made or something. I mean, that's how bad innovation.
Did you see these new chromium cards? They're amazing.
Refractors and
they can make them shinier.
Right.
My box of Bowman football has $65 in guaranteed value.
I was thinking about that.
Do you remember
that? Talking about this program.
I saw some
link below to Mike ripping a box of that, but they had the guaranteed $65 value in that. I mean,
it kind of made me think about that when I saw this. I'm like, kind of like the guaranteed. It's really nothing.
I was going to say that. I'm like, no, that sounds stupid. But I think we're on the same wavelength there. I was thinking the same exact thing.
Okay, I got a couple, just a little quick little news items. I saw there was a Colorado man who apparently had left a collection of vintage cards in a bank safe deposit box, and the bank had been trying to get a hold of him for quite a while, and they never were, and the cards were given up as like unclaimed property. Apparently the guy was living in Europe for like 10 years, and one day his kid said something to him about baseball cards, and like a light bulb went off. He was like, oh yeah, I should like figure out what happened to those cards I had in the safe deposit box. Well, eventually they found out that the cards were in a vault at the state capitol, and he finally got the cards back after all this time.
That's awesome.
But
that's wild.
Like, first of all, who knew they had a vault in the state capitol? This was in Colorado, but like, wow, somebody's cards are in a vault at the state capitol. Like, that's kind of cool. Like, what else do they have in there? I really want to know. But I do have to ask, who forgets you had a collection of vintage cards?
His life must be awesome. I'm just saying,
really,
if you can forget you have a box of or a safe of vintage cards at the bank, I'm wondering, like, it's X amount of dollars a month to have one of those. I'm wondering, did he just have it on like a direct withdrawal thing or something that you know, and at some point it stopped paying out, so that's why they ended up at the state capitol or whatever. It's like an episode of Storage Wars or something. I mean, it's crazy to think that you have cards valuable enough back then to put in a vault that you just totally forget about. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, there were a lot of cards from the 50s and 60s, and I guess they were originally his dad's and his uncle's. And the story did go on to say his dad was still alive, so like he was able to get the cards, and then he was like sharing them with his dad too, like his dad's old cards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I guess it sounds like maybe this guy wasn't a collector, possibly, and so that's why
maybe not.
Happened.
Yeah,
and
like,
so
or wasn't really into
cards
it. Must have maybe just said, "Oh, these are supposed to be valuable. We'll put them in the safe deposit box," and then like it must have been something with the payment that they lost the box. But
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that they actually made their way to the state capitol in a vault there. So
isn't that like a lost lost and found, lost treasure type of thing, where after a certain amount of time, like if somebody finds it, they can claim it? Like, isn't that how that?
I guess they keep, just like any other money that's for unclaimed money, like they keep it until the original owners can claim it, I guess. I don't know how that works, how long you have, but kind of crazy that they actually got reunited with the guy.
Yeah.
I have a funny similar story that I'll tell off the pod. It's not great for the pod. I'll tell you guys after when we're off, when we're not recording.
That's a teaser for everybody to join our Patreon that doesn't
right. Let's just say I had
my trading cards after dark or after hours.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely. I had something that made its way to the local police department that they called me and asked me if I wanted to claim it. So yeah, we'll keep that for the Patreon. But
wow,
if this guy wasn't a collector, I mean, you're right. Maybe he did just say whatever. They're baseball cards. Who gives a crap? And I'd love to know what all the stuff and what it was worth. I mean, if they were good enough 10 years ago to put in a safety deposit box, and you imagine, does he have 52 Mantles in there? You know, you never know.
I didn't see that pictured, but yeah, he has nice stuff though.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Another little tidbit that I saw that was near and dear to my heart was somebody sent in a 77 card PSA order, and they only got 18 cards back.
What? Jeez.
So there were 59 cards that PSA kind of like. Let's say
they don't like this is them. Why I don't submit cards to be graded.
So he didn't get them back at all, or they were not gradable?
No, they just disappeared.
Oh, that's even worse.
Out of 77, he only got 18 back, and he got like the receipt back from them showing 77 cards, but he only
and I bet you they charged him for 77 cards.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
They did, yes.
Wow.
Now, I will give an update to the story. The guy did actually post that he finally, after about a month, got the cards back. But similar to me, he had to go on social media before they could take care of the problem. Once that they found out about it, they had the situation resolved like within 2 days for him. Now,
it's bad that he had to even go to social media. Though.
Yeah, were the cards at PSA then?
Yeah, they were still there. They just weren't sent to him. They were found at PSA, and similar thing to me.
Going through the grading room and being like, I like that one, and I like that one, and I like that one.
But like, I had it happen with my Brady cards. I had 3 Brady cards there, and they lost them. And the big point is, customer service cannot do anything for these people. Like they have a real problem there in that the people who are supposed to be able to help with the problems can't. And if you get in touch with the right people, if Nat reaches out to you or somebody from PSA Card reaches out to you, if you complain about it on social media, they fix it right away. So there is such a gap between how easy it is for them to resolve a problem and the people who are supposed to be able to help you do that being able to do it. Like, it's really crazy for a company that big.
And it's one of those things. First off, we shouldn't be saying this in front of EP. He'll never submit cards.
Never.
Graded. After
you guys, I told you guys.
But it's crazy to me. Like, no joke. The best customer service I ever received was from HGA. It's like if PSA could hire the customer service department from HGA and make it their customer service, you'd have almost a perfect and SGC's graders, because they actually know how to grade cards. So if you like combined HGA's customer service, SGC's grading ability, and made them into one company, it'd be
Voltron this.
Voltron it. We'll just pick little pieces from each company and be able to make a perfect company. But it's mind-blowing, like you said, Mike. I mean, you had to customer service was no help to you. I remember how panicky you were about this. I mean, thousands of dollars worth of cards, and they had no answers for you. And I feel like it probably was the same for this guy. It's like you have to reach out to the CEO of the company who is busy recording people grading his cards. I mean, he doesn't have time for this. Dude,
busy running a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah, that's what he meant. Yeah.
Whatever. That's what I meant.
The craziest thing for me anyway in this is that I cannot think of any service where you're paying the amount of money that people are paying for these cards, and customer service is as bad as it appears to be for a lot of people. Yeah. Again, I haven't experienced it myself because I haven't submitted any cards. I haven't even created an account yet. But
and you won't after this.
But I've seen, there's just so much of it, and I realize I'm dealing with a lot of volume. But like, that is egregious.
But you expanded your business because of the volume. It's not like you have the same 10 guys in a room grading cards. You put a whole new facility out there. You have built up this company to be massive to handle that volume, and losing people's cards. The one thing you need to do is not lose people's cards, and that's what you're doing. It's mind blowing to me.
Like, it is crazy, they've scaled up so much and they handle such a volume of cards and they're able to push them through pretty quickly. But it feels like they've lacked on fulfilling the customer service side of that. Like, you can't have these many cards coming in, and they're aware of it. When I had my situation, I forget the guy's name that I spoke to, but he handled it right away. And like, he admitted to me, like, yeah, we have issues at the customer service end, but like, I mean, something they need to figure out, but they do know it's a problem. I don't know how difficult that would be to fix. Like, obviously, with all the cards that are being graded, you probably are swamped with people with complaints and questions and wondering about their cards and whatnot. So I do appreciate that the volume they have to handle is probably huge, but still, you need a way to like triage these situations. Like, people who are missing cards from their order should really go to another department that like handles it right away.
Right. And I'm guessing in a business of that size and what they deal with, the person answering the phone has nothing to do with going to find the cards. They probably are. I can't imagine the kind of days a lot of them have with people calling them.
But if you're,
it's terrible.
Right. Could you imagine?
I would not
people,
do that job, though.
Why did this get a 7?
people
are calling
all the
about
time.
grades.
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure.
Like, but I mean, we're kind of laughing it off and giving the customer service a little bit of a pass because it really isn't their job to know where your cards are. But if you're expanding a company so big, or did you only expand the grading side of it? Like, you should be expanding the customer service side of it too, and doing better and training those folks to handle belligerent. I mean, card people are belligerent. I mean, let's be fair.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine if having to deal with that on a daily basis? You should be expanding and training your people to handle that type of stuff.
Yeah, you would think they would have some sort of infrastructure, like a program that says, "Oh, these cards were shipped out this day," and then the different packages that were all shipped or whatever, that the person on the phone can look at it and say. But then they should be able to contact somebody like right away and get it resolved and find out, hey, what about these boxes here? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure they have that all in place. It's just obvious that it doesn't always work. So
right.
Yeah, hopefully they'll straighten that out. But companies that do have things straightened out, one of them is SGC, and they announced with Topps EP. This might be interesting to you.
Yes,
that they're going to do $9 grading for all 2022 Bowman Chrome baseball. No declared value limits, no extra charge for the autograph grade. There's no minimum that you have to send in, and you'll get them back within 5 to 10 days. You're the baseball guy. Let me know what you think about this.
I gotta tell you, if I had an extra $3,800 laying around, I'd buy a case of Bowman Chrome. I would buy a case. No question about it. I mean, you're not going to get the big hits, enough big hits to really make a huge difference. But I mean, any decent Bowman Chrome you get, you can send in at $9, and especially because it's a product where you're prospecting and you're hoping that these Bowman firsts turn into somebody, and you can send them out. And then the prices always get a bump when they start to get hot in the minors, when they get called up, when they have a first home run in the majors, or when they first have their first shutout as a pitcher. Pitchers don't generally go for as much as the hitters, but I mean, there's so much opportunity here, especially if you get in early before any of these guys really do any of their minor league stuff. I think it's awesome. Like, if SGC was trying to make a move. And again, I love SGC. I have a couple of cards. I've never graded with them either, but I have a couple other cards. I love their slabs. I love the cards in the slabs, but they're known for grading vintage. They're not as known as much about grading the modern and ultra modern stuff. But Chrome cards will probably look pretty cool in a tux. And if you're going to make a move, $9 a card with the biggest baseball product of the year is the call. It's the way to go. That's the thing to do. I mean, that's. I love it.
We see these companies making, you have PSA making a deal with eBay. You see CGC making, similar deals. This is genius. I mean, I don't know anything about baseball, except it makes me fall asleep, much like soccer makes Mike fall asleep. But I'll tell you what, just making a deal like this or doing a program like this is just, to me, it's genius. I mean, you're going to have a lot of cards, because baseball is the perfect product to do it, because there is so much prospecting, right? So you're going to have a lot of cards that'll get graded that probably shouldn't be graded, because people are waiting for that prospect to come through. So and you're going to get them back quick. I mean, I suspect that SGC is still going to have a great turnaround. They'll probably say 30 days and you'll get them back in a week. I mean,
Said 5 to 10.
I think.
Yeah. Oh, 5 to 10 days.
10
yeah.
days.
I mean, you might get them back sooner than 5 to 10 is my guess. So yeah, I this is a great move. Like you said, EP, this is a great move for SGC. Very smart to do it for one of the bigger products. And for baseball, you're going to get more. Like in football, there's not this type of prospecting, right?
Yeah.
So people are going to send in the Herbert rookies, the Burrow rookies, and things like that, but they're not going to say, "Oh, here's a 6th round quarterback. Maybe I'll take a shot on and send in." You don't have that type of stuff with baseball. It's perfect. You're going to get a lot more of those fringe players that make sense to grade if you're prospecting.
Literally, if I buy a case, any card that any of the Bowman firsts, especially refractors, but anything that looked like it could possibly 10, I'm going to send in. I might have to take out a loan on top of the $4,000 for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the amount of cards you have to send in. But I mean if you, again, they get a big bump on all these. They have all these different points where they can get big bumps. And then if you really like a guy or two, you can hold on to those and think, well, maybe this guy's got a potential Hall of Fame career and can end up with a really good card.
Telling people, start claiming more cards on a stack sale so you can buy a case of Bowman Chrome.
Actually,
and submit about 100 to 200 cards to SGC.
Yeah. So do you think this will be a needle mover, though? Do you think the people that would normally have sent it to PSA are going to go, well, you know what, for $9, I'd be stupid not to? Do you think that? Do you think they're going to get some of the cards that would have been sent to PSA? Obviously, like the high dollar stuff, I think people are still going to send to PSA, and I don't think SGC probably, thinks that anybody, although they're probably hoping that maybe somebody will go, I could have sent it SGC for $9 or PSA for $300. Maybe I should just do the 9, and I have $291 profit built right into that. So, like, what do you think, though? Do you think that'll sway some people to not send them to PSA?
I think this has the potential to be almost a perfect storm type situation, where not only are you sending in your Bowman Chromes, but you're getting back a 10 on your Bowman Chrome. It looks awesome in this slab. And you're thinking, maybe I should send in some of these other cards. And then you think about the mantle that just sold, the mantle that we saw at the National that was in the SGC slab. And I mean, they're making big moves in baseball. And I think especially for baseball, I think people are going to, the numbers are going to be coming out in a couple weeks, right? It's the end of the month. So the numbers will be coming out for the grading, and they've been positive. They've been increasing their numbers. If I remember correctly, like pretty much every month. So like I could see like they're moving up, they're getting closer. This is the kind of move that really gives them a bump, in my opinion.
Is this product out already?
It came out this week or last week, I think.
So my hesitation in saying that this will be a big bump for SGC is right now PSA is running $15 a month, right? The cards will be more valuable in a PSA slab. And with prospecting, you really don't need the cards back quick. Mm-hmm. So if you're prospecting, you opened up a case of it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you still have, I'm looking at my calendar, you still have 3 or 4 days to send them to PSA at $15. $6 is significant if you're sending in a ton. Mm-hmm. But if you're sending in a ton, you can probably afford the $6, and the cards don't need to come back right away because, like you said, EP, if you're prospecting these players, baseball's over. So you've got time before they hit their first home run, before they have their first shutout or any of these things. So you can wait the 3 months or 120 days, whatever PSA is saying. You can wait that amount of time to get them back from PSA, and they probably will be more valuable. And it pains me to say that as someone who, I know we joke, I'm Mr. PSA, but as someone who's not a PSA fan and really likes SGC, I think this is good. But if I'm that person, if I'm that investor, I probably still go with PSA on these.
But if you're sending in 500 cards,
right? That's when becomes interesting.
Or even 100. Like that is $600 difference,
is.
and you're gonna have a lot of misses. Like that baseball prospecting. Like you're not talking about 50% of them are going to be worth value.
Yeah.
So are you really going like that? Those two cards that you got graded by PSA that came back to PSA 10 instead of SGC, like, are you really going to be making your money at the end of the day on the total when you have the other 98 cards that were misses that you're paid the extra money on? So, you know, there's a lot of stuff for people to like. I don't know why you wouldn't take a chance with this. Personally, I feel like it's a great.
And maybe I'm just playing because PSA is the devil. Maybe I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit on this one.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's a lot of stuff though that people don't always think of. Like, oh yeah, well, my 3 cards I get out of this, they're going to be worth more in PSA, and you're like, yeah, but you blew all this other money on the ones that aren't worth anymore. Yeah. So,
and I also wonder if there are a lot of people who aren't quite to the level of Joe, but they're frustrated by a lot of things that PSA has done, like not sending back their cards when they send in a 70 card order.
You know what I mean? Send in 100 cards, you're only going to get 10 of them back.
Yeah, I really should send SGC. I should send at least a couple cards, see what happens, and all of a sudden this thing drops into your lap, and this is your favorite product. Like you're going to send like everything, like all your Bowman cards there if you're in that situation.
And honestly, worst case scenario is you get some of those high end cards or those better cards back, and you almost paid $9 for a pre-grade, right? So you got a SGC 10 on something, and you think to yourself, well, maybe I could send these off to PSA later. You know, I kind of pre-grade it for $9. Maybe I can send it to PSA, crack it, and resubmit it. I think a lot of people might do that too,
right?
Depending on where PSA's prices are here in a month or two.
It'd also be interesting to see, depending on, I mean, if there's a lot of volume of those cards, what happens to the prices of those cards compared to PSA? They probably are not going to catch up to PSA, but I could see them moving up. And if that's, again, this is I'm looking like broad picture, like if those cards go up and they're kind of moving closer to PSA, does that also then lift up the other SGC slabs, the prices of other SG slabs? Again, probably not quite to PSA's level, probably never get there, but like getting closer would be interesting. And this in my opinion is a potential way for them to move closer, continue to move their prices closer to what PSA's cards are.
Yeah, it's a good way to normalize sending in ultra modern. So I also found it interesting too that like this is a SGC and Topps deal. So again, we talked about Topps with the buyback program. Here they are, you know, partnering up with a grader to offer this. So, you know, I think that's another unique thing. I don't know that we've seen specific companies like offer this kind of thing. We've seen some that would send cards in and get graded, and then they pack out the already graded cards. But
I was just going to bring those up. How many? I had an Ian Gold from 2000 really bad playoff momentum. I'm like, why do I have this graded? Oh, it was in one of those. I think it would be cool if they went back and did that too. You know, it'd be interesting to have like a graded a slab in a box. So if you buy a hobby box,
but nowadays if it's not a 10, people are just going to be mad at you. I feel like doing this is a lot better idea than getting anything graded.
Because then you can only blame your in crappy cards.
Oh, I only got a 9.5. This is crap. I spent $50. Yeah, so probably a bad idea to try it now.
True.
So
interesting though that Topps is partnering up with it.
I wonder if they went to PSA or BGS and they passed. Do you think PSA was like, we have enough business, we don't need that? Doesn't sound like PSA. That PSA would want to like stranglehold as many corners of the market as they could get. I wonder if they went directly to SGC, because if they did, if someone like Michael Rubin
may have gone to
SGC may have gone to them. But if Michael Rubin's like, I'm going to give a thumbs up to this, that's kind of big for SGC.
Yeah, I know. Like when you said, I wasn't aware there was a deal between Topps and SGC for this. I just thought it was just SGC saying, "Hey, let's do this." Like, I wonder what the genesis was, like how it all came about. If there were two like peons that worked for each company, that were kind of just talking about, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if?" And then somebody took it to their higher ups or whatever. That would be kind of cool. Or who knows if the SGC's CEO and the Fanatic CEO were kind of in the same, or top CEO were in the same place at the same time, and just said, "Hey, I got an idea. I would love to hear that story. There's somebody tell that story at some point."
Kind of feels like it would have originated with SGC. Like that sounds
Probably.
like something
Right.
somebody said, you know what if we do this? And people were like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Get in touch with them. And Topps was like, yeah, sounds great. So I mean, I don't know what the relationship is. I just know that on the SGC website it says SGC and Topps like offer this. So pretty cool. Again, something a little different. We're talking about some fun new things this week instead of just being crabby about the crap that's going on. So it's a nice change.
People are going to wonder what podcast they.
Who are these guys?
Where
who are these like Sunshine Rainbows people?
But EP, you talked about them sending in all the prospect cards and stuff. That leads me to my next little topic I want to finish on today. Are we in the junk slab era now? We talked about being in the junk wax era last week. We're talking about the SGC deal and, how people are probably going to be sending in all kinds of cards that eventually are going to be cards where people go, why did you ever grade that? And
I have some of those from the 90s.
Yeah,
so I know
this is clearly not the only set of cards that has that happen, but we are, right? Like there's no question that slabs are really like such a small percentage of them are really worth what the value you're really worth the amount of money you're putting in to get them graded, right?
I feel like if you want to buy a card in a slab, any card from any set ever, you can probably find one. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
almost same,
definitely.
like obviously number to 5 or something like that, maybe not, but like almost any base card because of the way things were in 2021 and a lot of the like mid-end stuff to like the lower high-end stuff. Like there's probably a slabbed version of it somewhere. Somebody got it slabbed somewhere. Like, and so yes, junk slab era confirmed.
I almost bought a Gary Anderson PSA 10 rookie card. I mean, that tells you can. I thank God I didn't, but I think it was like $100. Thank God.
I was gonna say that can't be cheap.
Wait, only $100? How'd you not get
only
it?
$100. I should be displayed on next to my fireplace. Yeah, 100%. I mean, people in 2021 sent in everything, anything that looked like it could get it. Yeah, anything that looked like it could get a 10. And we wax poetic a lot about Alico 3 because he's great. We love him. We love the way he does his videos. He was one of the biggest culprits of doing this. I mean, anything he opened that he thought could get a 10, didn't matter if it was a 10th year base card. If he thought he could get a 10 out of it, he was sending it in. And this, I mean, as prices come down, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I've been saying this. I don't usually do it like Mike, but I'm going to pat myself on the back. I've been saying this since, when prices started coming down from PSA, I'm like, I think this could open up people sending in. I think Hoops was the set we had kind of went back and forth on. I could see people doing this again with prices coming down. They're going to send in a ton of the what was it, Bowman or Topps Chrome or whatever that SGC has to deal with. I mean, they're going to send in rando players from that. I mean, and as PSA comes down, they're at 15 now. Mike, you're going to get 8 to 10. When it's 8 to 10 again, what's going to stop them from doing that? I really do think
it's the resale prices. If they go back up,
if it's $10 and you get a PSA 10 and now it's $20, if it's $10 a grade and you get a PSA 10 and it's a $20 card.
I mean, that's a good question. Do you think we're getting to the I feel like we're getting close to the point where even if you get a 10 on some cards, they're not going to be worth what you paid to grade it. Like it has to get to that level, right? There's just some stuff out there that there are so many cards graded, like newer stuff. Like if you're sending in newer base cards, why should anybody pay a premium for a PSA 10? Go ahead, EP.
I've seen a couple looking through listings on eBay. I've seen a couple PSA 10s for $16 that I thought about buying of cards that I would never send in to get graded. But I guarantee that person paid way more than $16 to get it graded. But it's still PSA 10s. I really think that we are at that level where if you're just because it's a PSA 10 doesn't mean you should get it graded and at $9 and $8, it's probably getting closer to that. But I really think that it's close to where, I mean, you really can't do a PSA 10 for everything and think they're going to make value on it.
Yeah, I mean that is the problem. That's the juxtaposition you have between, does it make sense to send this in because it'll 10, but if you can only get $15 on eBay for it and you're paying $15 to get graded, it doesn't make sense. So it's going to be interesting to see how people weigh those things out. But as prices go down, I think there will be more and more people willing to send in cards and take the chance at, what do you say, Mike? $10 you think it'll eventually get down to?
I think so. Yeah. 10, 12.
I mean, so if it costs $10, you get a 10. I think there are people that are willing to take that risk, that they can get more than $10 with fees and shipping and all that stuff. They can get more than $10 of profit from it. I mean, the margins aren't going to be as high, sure, but they're still going to be profitable. So that's kind of, you have to weigh that. And I think some people will weigh that and say it's worth the risk. I watched this is Carlson Cards on YouTube, and he sent 500 cards to PSA to get graded. And he's been doing a video series, like 10 or 50 cards every video. And he's sending in some stuff that I'm like, I don't know if I would grade that, but he still thinks he can make money on them. Like, he puts like the potential profit loss, and he can still make money on them. Why not? If that's your job, if that's what you're spending your days doing,
right,
maybe it does make sense to send at a certain price level.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. As a buyer, like, you can find a lot of deals out there. So, and the grading companies are definitely happy that people are sending in so many cards to get graded. But like, if a product, there was a ton of a product made, the cards weren't worth a whole lot raw, you're going to see that they're not going to be worth a whole lot graded either. So, just like anything else, it's all going to be the supply and demand. But yeah, I do think we'll get to the point where there just will be cards that people are going to eventually say, no, not worth it anymore. Like a couple of years ago, you got a 9 when we first got back into it, even like a year and a half ago. When I was looking up stuff to decide to send in, I was using like a PSA 8 as kind of my break-even point. And now 9s aren't even a break-even point on the same cards that I had sent in. So, like,
unless it's super low numbered or some sort of variation.
Yeah, but for the most part,
like pre-2015
cards, they're just not. Like, I have a lot of the like Vince Carter rookie cards and stuff, and like I have more I could send in, but unless I got a 10, it really wouldn't be worth it anymore. And that's a good card, but there were a lot of them made, and that means that even in a slab, there's still a lot of them. So yeah, really, I think people become a little pickier, and a lot of the newer base, they're probably gonna not send that in eventually.
Well, here's a question to you guys: Are slabs the new one touches? Right, like that's how people want their cards displayed, or that's how people want their cards protected. They want it in a slab. Some people don't even care about the grade. Like, I have a Kenny Pickett Dan Marino auto. I know it's not a 10, right? But I'd like to get it slab because I would like to have it encased in some way. Like, are people going to send cards in and say, well, one touch probably costs $3. If it cost me an extra $6 to send this Topps Chrome or Bowman Chrome to SGC, I'd rather do that, because now it's encased, and it's whatever the grade is now is what it will be forever. Like, if it's a 10 now, it'll be a 10 in 20 years. Where if you have it in a one touch, it could get shook around. Maybe it does look like a 10 in that one touch, but 10 years later, maybe it looks like a 7,
I think one of some of the things that like, you look into Mike's background there, and Joe, your living room, and you guys both put them on display, and they're really cool displayed. Part of the reason why we do the collecting is we like to have the best version of these cards, and we like to show off the best version of these cards. So to get them graded, I think a lot of people will do that. But then I think might end up happening is, instead of sending in 20 of these 1991 Fleer base cards, maybe they send in the one that they want to keep, or so something like that, as opposed to like. So I wonder if maybe we don't get to that level of craziness that we went through in 2021 and 2020.
All right. Well, that was a pretty good discussion this week, guys, and I guess we'll be back next week. Take care, guys.
If I can wake up.
If we can get Joe here. All right. See you guys.